Nestled in the northeast region of India, Mizoram is a world of unexplored wonder where Mother Nature flares in her full beauty and glory. This is a land which welcomes one with breathtaking natural splendor. It is indeed easy to get lost in such beauty, and this arouses a deep sense of inquisitiveness as to who are the lucky inhabitants of such a gift of nature. And thus, the journey into this exquisite land begins with the hope of understanding the people and their customs. 900 kilometers away from Guwahati, far away from the hustle and bustle of the modern world, is the Mara district of Mizoram. We delve deeper into the tiny village of Zongling. This area is home to an array of flora and fauna. The Maras belong to the Mongoloid stock of the Tibet-to-Burma race and depend greatly on the natural environment for their survival. The men usually set out to the jungles in search of food, which they hunt and gather. The men set up traps for birds after seeking out strategic locations. The traps are cleverly built with natural materials which are camouflaged to blend brilliantly with the background. Thus, the interdependence with nature continues as the men of Mara land roam deep in the jungles trying to provide for their families. All the Maras have now adopted Christianity, but there are many unwritten traditions and practices recognized in the socio-cultural system. Population in these villages is not more than 1700. The villages here are dotted with thatch huts made of split bamboo. While the men are out hunting, the hard-working women collect wood and take care of all household chores. the women take meticulous care to keep their huts spick and span. The women pound rice in their primitive pestle and mortar. The Maras have a rich cultural heritage. Each important occasion is marked by a dance which is performed by the members of the village. When the men come back successful from a hunt, the village get together to celebrate with a dance called Saulakia. This is one of their oldest and significant cultural dances. The literal meaning of the Saulakia is the dance of the spirit of the fallen foe, which has its roots in history. The simple village folk are one with nature. The children of the Maras spend a lot of time in the forest where they gather fruits, wood, or local herbs. The forests here are rich in resources, and it is a common sight to find the men roaming in these parts. Though the dependence on the forest is very high, the forest alone cannot provide all that is required for their existence. For this, they have to travel long distances by foot to go to the Saiha town. The town market is where the villagers shop for their daily requirements. The market makes available to the people local delicacies such as frogs, snails, and dried fish. A variety of locally grown fresh fruits and vegetables are sold here. Women who sell everything from vegetables, clothing to household items dominate the market here. After their long trek from the market back to the village, the women waste no time and start preparing their meals. The men wait in anticipation as the women cook up interesting dishes out of rice, vegetables, herbs and tubers from the jungle and unusual ingredients such as frogs, snails, etc. They enjoy steamed food with salt and chilies on the side. Cultivation is a chief source of occupation, and the Maras celebrate the harvest of their crops by a dance known as Aukifala. The fun-loving village folk form a circle in the middle of which is a big pot of alcohol. This dance is a celebration of plenty, and the Maras enjoy it to the fullest. While dancing, they take turns in taking sips from the pot, taking the festivity to a different level of euphoria and excitement. Their innermost feelings of joy are thus expressed through this dance. The women folk are not only devoted wives and mothers, they are also skilled weavers. The interesting aspect of their work is that they start the work from scratch. The work begins with the women creating thread out of cotton. Weaving is a very tedious occupation, and the women show great skill and patience in their undertakings. Once the thread is ready, They add color to them with dyes from the indigo plant and other roots dug out from the jungle. With the colored threads, they make beautiful patterns which are woven by hand. Some of these cloths take months to make and others a year or more. The completed outfits are worn for their special occasions such as dances, feasts, etc. The oldest couple, N. Laithia and J. Sechi, respected in the village as pillars of wisdom and of strength, played a different role that day. Proving to be excellent ambassadors of the Maras, they modeled for the exquisite hand-woven costumes. The elders are revered here and spend their old age in relaxation and comfort of a simple life. The Maras show their expertise in craftsmanship and they make beautiful articles of wood, bamboo and metals. Some of their items are preserved in the district museum in Saiha town. The display also shows musical instruments used by the Maras in different dances and festivals. These instruments are made from different metals and bamboo. There are also miniature weapons, looms, spinning wheel, spears, baskets, etc. on display. The handmade items reflect their richness in tradition and culture. The Maras believe in a human being formed of a trinity, that is having a body, a soul and a spirit. The body is believed to die and disappear, but the soul never dies. The simple people make arrangements for the burial of their elders before their death. S. Chico and N. Nonya are visiting their own burial site. Here, it is common practice for the son to construct a burial place for their parents. And Lai Chua, being a dutiful son, spent a lot of his earnings to create a burial place which is acceptable to his parents.
He is my father. My father's name is S. Chico. And this is my mother. And my mother is N. Nonya. He is the elder of this village. After my parents' death, they will be buried here as per their wishes. My father was village council chief previously and a respected person. He had played an important role of spreading Christianity in the village. He was also a village pastor.
Death is an accepted fact among the Maras. No man is an island, but one leaves the world all alone. All necessary arrangements are made during the lifetime of a person in preparation of death. When that time arrives, an unusual scenario is observed. Tozo Noro, an old lady of the village, is on her deathbed and breathing her last. On hearing the news, the women gather wood for her and deposit it outside her house. The village folk gather in her house and chant prayers for her. They chant and cry and mourn her impending death. Then, one by one, they shake hands with Tozo Noro and bid their final goodbye. When death arrives in the village of the Maras, this too is received with dance. This dance is known as Thila. Preparing to take the deceased body to the burial site, they do the dance, mourning the death and saying their final farewell to their loved one. The Maras have maintained their age-old traditions, which are unique and very special to them. Their faces reflect their simplicity and exquisiteness. In the innocence of their smiles and beauty of their nature lie their inherent zest for life.